It's not so easy sleeping in Cairo, although we were so tired after yesterday that we did okay. Our first introduction to Muslim prayer time came at 4:15 AM. A frightening way to wake up the first time, but something we had to endure for the next 5 weeks. Each mosque has loudspeakers to broadcast the prayer, and they are always conveniently located outside hotels. The noise from our neighbour's farmyard across the road didn't help either.
He's got a duck, a couple of chickens. Where is he? Oh, there he is. That's what's been keeping us awake all night.
We met up with our first tour group and hit the streets of Cairo on foot. It had been nearly 3 hours since we had eaten a falafel, so we had to make a stop. The Khan al-Khalili Bazaar was next. It was around here that the suicide bomber struck only 2 days later. Fortunately for us, the only suspicious package I saw was that falafel I just ate. I'm not sure what was in it, but it had me running. Markets really aren't our thing, so we stopped and had some tea, another part of Egyptian culture we were growing accustomed to. From the tea stop we headed to the Great Mosque. After handing our shoes over to the guy at the front and hoping desperately they would be there on our return, we entered the mosque where Cint became her alter ego Fatima.
What do you call it? I can't show any hair. I can't remember.
Cint had to wear her whatever, and I had to put on a silly looking beard before entering the mosque.
So just walking down the road now, heading towards the Sphinx.
The Sphinx, as you see, is like a combination between a lion's body and the human's head. So it represents the animal's power and the human's wisdom. So when you be a pharaoh ruling the country, you must be a powerful man and wise person at the same time.
The Sphinx is Sphinx stuff.
After spending the morning at the pyramids, we stopped for some falafel and then went to the museum again. Security is a major concern in Egypt. These kids will go to extremes to pinch your wallet. We also had the option of a swim, which I couldn't pass up. I couldn't believe I was actually swimming in this mighty river. In fact, you could have said that I was in denial.
This is very civilized. Wow! Oh wow!
Jordan was like a breath of fresh air after Egypt. Now I say like a breath of fresh air, because an actual breath of fresh air is unlikely to be found in the Middle East. Besides, with our tummies still acclimatising to the local cuisine, fresh air anywhere near us is also unlikely. We left our hotel in Aqaba by the dodgy back entrance and spent a magical day in the back of a jeep exploring Lawrence of Arabia country.
Yep, we're about to head off, head to the Ruddy one.
Wadi Rum.
What?
Ruddy one? Or Wadi Rum?
Wadi Rum.
There you go.
Or Wadi.
Wadi Rum was a breathtaking expanse of multicoloured sand dunes, soaring cliffs, and the odd camel and lizard. There was something really special about sleeping under the stars out in the desert. Just us, the dunes, the critters, and one of the desert tribesmen talking on his mobile phone all night, just like in the days of Lawrence. We left our camp early and jumped back onto the four-wheel drives, off to catch the public bus, destination Petra. Petra was a magnificent rich city that controlled the Silk Route into the Middle East. When the caravan route moved away, so did the people, and Petra has been lost to the Western world for hundreds of years. Thanks to Indiana Jones, it's now back in the Lonely Planet Goes. After a 5-kilometre walk through a stunning cavernous path with the walls towering as high as 80 metres, we came to the treasury and was blown away that this spectacular building has been hewn from the rock face.
It is truly amazing.
Petra is indeed an amazing monument and testimony of man's determination to hit a rock with a hammer.
Okay, so we've had a free morning in Damascus. This is our second day here. We've decided to come to the Archaeological Museum.
This place is so nice. Damascus is a very, very pretty city.
After lunch, we boarded our bus to Palmyra. The signs to the left pointed to Beirut and to the right Baghdad, so we were quite happily pushing on straight ahead until the exhaust fell off our bus and we were stranded in the desert for quite some time. We eventually made it to Palmyra for a beautiful sunset over the moon.
Did Cint poo her pants?
Cint pooed her pants when the bus pulled over in the middle of nowhere, about 100 k's from the Iraqi border.
And this is a typical Middle Eastern footpath. They always plant trees right in the middle of the footpath.
Palmyra by sunset is pretty, and they are a town hell-bent on selling you dates. Granted, they are good dates, but within a few days of everyone's huge boxes of dates being endlessly passed around the bus in the hope someone would finish them, our date fetish was over. One week exactly after Anzac Day, and today we were going to Gallipoli. Driving to Gallipoli had me feeling trepidation and a sense of unease. I was expecting it to be very emotional. Looking at the coves from the beach wasn't overly emotional, as in such a calm, peaceful, idyllic spot. It was just too hard to imagine thousands of young men running, being mown down by gunfire before reaching the comfort of their trench. Our guide Ali was a Turk who had a great respect for both the Turkish and Anzac soldiers, describing them as equal in strength and spirit. To hear how they spent months in trenches no more than 8 metres apart, throwing chocolate and tobacco across no man's land to each other, was a heartbreaking insight into the humanity of Gallipoli. Lone Pine was very difficult, and the tears overflowed in my eyes. My grandfather didn't die in the war, but very much as a result of. This pointless warfare at Gallipoli symbolised the robbing of any chance I had of a relationship with my grandfather, we called Cici. The Turkish leader Ataturk came into power after leading some local troops at Gallipoli, and this place is just as important a pilgrimage site to the Turks as it is to us. There was no talk of enemies or unforgiveness, bitterness or hatred, but only of unity. We fought together and died together. We are one blood, one people. Only geography differentiates us. I finally understand the spirit of Anzac. Packing our bags and heading for the airport, we couldn't help feeling excited about going home, but realising you could spend double the time we had in these countries and still not have seen enough. Whilst we'd struggled with some aspects of the culture, we'd also learned and appreciated so much. The ancient history of these countries was diverse and fascinating. The landscapes and monuments, either natural or man-made, a privilege to have seen. We were heading home with much broader minds, and unfortunately, broader waistlines.